Cinemajaw is brought to you by Second City Training Center. Find your funny this week with a $20 improv drop-in class at the Second City Training Center in Chicago. Your first drop-in class is on them. Use the code TESTDRIVE for a free improv drop-in any Sunday at 7 p.m. For more information, go to secondcity.com/TC or call 312-664-3959 to register. And we thank them for their support. You're listening to Cinemajaw, the greatest movies podcast ever, recorded on location at Cards Against Humanity in Chicago. My name is Matt Kay, and with me is...
Rye, the movie guy, and sitting alongside us inside the fish tank is Filmy and Phil.
How's it going?
This week on Cinemajaw, Matt, we look at the up-and-comers in Hollywood as we cover our top 5 favorite new Hollywood faces, I guess, when it comes to actresses.
Yeah, promising new actresses is what I'm calling this. Although some of mine are familiar.
Yeah.
But there's more to come from these people is, I guess, what the point is.
Right. We are doing this in honor of Alicia Vikander, who is in Tomb Raider.
Right.
And that got us thinking about other actresses, and we set a criteria of under 30. So these are actresses who are coming up, still have a humongous career ahead of them, and we're going to cover our top 5 that we're most excited for.
Yeah, and hopefully we get like 15 under 30.
I like that.
Because it's you, me, and a guest.
Yeah.
15 picks.
And then talk about a great guest that we're going to have joining us, right, Matt?
Yes, indeed. Colleen Kelly is here. She's the host of Ken, Colleen, and Kurt in the Morning on Star 102.
Can't wait.
In Des Moines.
Yeah, you can always put me first when in doubt.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Besides that, we have a whole lot more going on, don't we, Phil?
Yeah, we are also going eye for an eye on Pacific Rim Uprising.
And we got reviews of Tomb Raider and Terms of Endearment, the movie club pick.
Yes. Our first movie club pick of 2018.
Yes, indeed. We picked a doozy.
Can't wait to talk about that. Plus, Matt, in honor of Pacific Rim Uprising, big action movie, I thought it'd be a good time to play action movie cast trivia.
Okay, I might have a sporting chance at that topic.
Yourself first, Colleen, in action movie cast. And what I did something a little bit different. I just went down the list from 2017, 16, 15, 14 of action movies. So I'll give you the year and the cast, and you tell me what movie it is.
Okay.
That sounds like fun.
We'll try this.
Another big movie on the horizon. Right before the press screening of Tomb Raider, they played the preview for Ready Player One.
Oh, nice.
And I am really pumped for this. And it got me thinking, it's Steven Spielberg doing a movie that is a celebration of the 80s, the decade that made Steven Spielberg.
It's a huge fit, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
And I thought, if I was going to show one person a movie that says, hey, this was Steven Spielberg of the 1980s.
At his peak.
At his peak, this is Spielberg in one film. And I think one film clearly says it.
Oh, there's absolutely just one here.
Yeah, you watch it, and that's Steven Spielberg, the great Steven Spielberg of the 1980s.
I bet we're even thinking of the same film.
How can't we be?
Yeah, of course it's Raiders of the Lost Ark.
What?
Raiders of the Lost Ark. You're
E.T.,
saying
the extraterrestrial. Oh, my God.
I don't know about that, dude.
Matt, I am phoning home on you, buddy.
Cinema War.
You're going down.
I don't think so.
Big time you're going down.
We'll see.
All right, it is a jam-packed jaw, so we got to get rolling here.
Mm-hmm.
So without further ado, Matt, you already heard her chime in here. Colleen Kelly is the co-host of Ken, Colleen, Kurt in the Mornings on Star 102.5 in beautiful Des Moines, Iowa.
Hey!
Colleen, welcome to Cinemajaw.
Hey, thanks for having me, you guys. This
Absolutely.
is great.
This has been...
What a great place.
Oh, thanks.
You like the studio?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I mean, I feel like it's better than the studio I broadcast from and on a daily basis. And I feel like we have a bigger budget. I mean, I'm not going to sell you guys short, but...
I can guarantee you have a bigger budget.
Our engineer needs to come and look at what you guys got going on here. But yeah, thanks for having me.
Well,
I'm looking forward to it.
Got to give credit to Cards Against Humanity for setting up the podcast co-op and these awesome digs. But thank you.
What a great opportunity.
Totally.
I always get nervous when we have somebody, who's a professional in the radio industry because, I mean,
Well,
it's
let's not set it too high here, okay? We use this very loosely, but yeah, I've been doing morning radio for over 18 years, It's a fun ride. I keep thinking I'll write it out for as long as they'll let me. Really, I don't know when that is.
Well, I say I get nervous because it's a lot harder to do live radio compared to a podcast where I can screw up and say, Phil, edit that out. You know, there's no edit on live radio.
No, there isn't. And my thing now is I feel like my brain is shrinking, so I've found it harder and harder to come up with words. And I don't know if you guys feel this way during the podcast. I know Phil may be able to tighten you up a bit, but the dead air. Like when you can't think of a word and you're just sitting there and you're searching for it in your mind, or you're trying to think of an actor, an actress, a director, and it's just, you're just lapsing. That's very frustrating and embarrassing. But
So here's my question. You do morning radio. What time do you go on air?
we go on at 5 a.m.
5 a.m. So you have to be awake and alert when you're on the radio. I feel it even doing Cinemajaw. I feel like right beforehand, when I'm at home, Matt doesn't know this, I do calisthenics.
Good for you.
To get
You
ready
do not.
for the podcast.
You're doing squats? Which ones are you doing?
I do
push-ups?
50 jumping jacks, 50 push-ups, and 10 squats, and then I come over to the studio.
I think you guys should start doing that together. You should start doing like he should just bring this in. This is what you do.
We could film it and put it on our Instagram.
Yes. Now you watch those subscriptions start really popping. You thought they were good before.
Oh, they're just going to go through the roof.
But my question was this. If you're going on the air at 5 a.m., like, you have to be up and alert before the on-air button goes on. So what time do you start prepping for the show?
Okay, now you are definitely giving me way more credit. To remind me, I went to go talk to like a 5th grade class one time, and one of the girls was very sweet, and she said, what do you do to warm up your vocal cords in the morning? And I was like,
Coffee and cigarettes.
I clear my throat and I drink some coffee. Am I supposed to do an exercise of some sort to warm up my vocal cords? I'm probably going to sound like I've been smoking 7 packs a day in another 10 years. Do you do like do, re, mi?
No. He does the red leather, yellow red leather.
Right.
I can't even do it.
Which is just to sort of exercise your tongue so that you pronounce words right. You do red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather.
Unique, New York.
New York, unique. Yeah.
Okay, this whole thing you need to have up online. Your preparation. Well, and do side by side. Matt's out having a smoke.
Yes.
Right. You're doing the calisthenics and you're, warming up your
vocals.
tongue.
Yep. Unbelievable. That really
Side
sums up
by side.
Cinemajaw.
Yeah.
There you go.
And then we come in and we get mail that everybody sides with Matt's opinion on film. Boy, oh boy.
And here you've got a whole thing going on beforehand. Now, this is what I will say this, that there's something to be said for kind of waking up with your audience. We come on, and I got to give our show credit that we are who we are. And yes, we come on with some energy, but we too are, we know most of our audience is just getting up. So we're being authentic with them. I mean, you come in, you got too much energy. People are, it's like, whoa, give me a second here. So they want some, but, they're warming up too. So it's okay. We get into our stride and, around 6. And it's fine.
That's good.
Yeah.
Now, being a morning talk show host, and since this is a movie podcast, let's tie those two together. Have you interviewed anybody in the film industry, and would it be somebody exciting and fun to talk to?
I was telling you guys this off air, and I need to be, I wish I were better prepared for it, but we had the guy who directed Bob, I'm not coming up with any of it, but, and it would impress you guys, and this is, how terrible is that, but it's fine if you leave them, my co-hosts are going to give me a real hard time about this.
Is it Bobcat Goldthwait?
No.
Okay.
No, but I think we've interviewed him. He's a comedian.
Mm-hmm. He was a comedian turned filmmaker, yes.
Okay. Yeah, we've had a couple of those. Here's who we get in. We do get a lot of comedians in because we have a funny bone in town. So we get the comedians in. And we have had some actors and actresses along the years, most of them who have somehow gone into comedy, and that would be how we get them. But yeah, we interviewed the president, not Donald Trump. Well, we did interview Donald Trump and Hillary when they were both running, but we interviewed Barack Obama. That was probably the highlight of my career. Was interviewing Barack Obama. That was pretty cool.
Hell
not
yeah.
at all associated
to
movies.
No, I didn't know that either. He hasn't even returned our calls.
But
Still
I'm
waiting.
sure
And this is
he
Chicago.
would love to come and talk movies with you guys. He's missing out.
Yeah.
He's missing out.
One day, Colleen, mark my words, we'll get Obama.
That'd be great.
It's going to happen.
Now, is the radio station 102.5 also online in case people aren't in the
Sure.
Des Moines, Iowa
Yeah.
area. They can listen
Yeah,
anywhere
and
in the
we
world.
too, we have podcasts. We take some of our better segments on the show and just make them available so you can listen to them in podcast form. Yeah, I mean, plenty of ways to tune in, if you're a fan in Canada.
So, speaking of live, I mean, this is probably somewhat of a common question you get a lot, but I am curious. We were talking a little bit about a disaster that happened recently, right before we started recording.
Yeah.
Which we could tell that story if you want, but I wanted to know what is the biggest on-air debacle, like a time when you had a guest who just did something outlandish, or
This is easy. This is Barry Williams.
I'm not familiar.
Barry Williams from the Brady Bunch. Greg
Oh,
Brady.
okay, yes, yeah.
Okay.
A reality TV fame
Yes,
as well. Okay.
Yes. So Barry Williams was in The Sound of Music. So he was coming through town to promote The Sound of Music. And he came into studio. He was way hungover. And because he reeked like booze. Which isn't unusual. I mean, that happens, especially like with the comedians and
Especially
stuff.
that hour in the morning,
Yeah,
right?
and that's fine. That wasn't as offensive as just his overall attitude. So he gives us a tape. At the time, he had his single out, which was, "I'm Greg Brady, I'm the real Brady." It was a Slim Shady parody, okay?
Wow, it's real clever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, we tell him, we had a game we wanted him to play with us to try to make Barry Williams relevant. And so it was the Guess the Brady Bunch episode. And we played a clip from a particular Brady Bunch episode. He had to guess which one it was.
Yeah.
Okay?
I
We're just
feel
trying to
you.
have some fun with him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, are you going to play my song? And our host, Ken, was like, well, yeah, I'll play some of your song, but you're going to play our game. And he's like, okay. And like real put out. And we're live on the air. And so he starts playing our game. And then we go on to like the next question. And he brings it up again. He's like, are you going to play my song? And Ken's like, yeah, dude, just can we finish
Get
this
through
up?
this,
Yeah,
yeah.
like this is live on the radio. Very awkward. So Ken gives them his, we played 20 seconds of this song, which, by the way, was 15 more seconds than what he deserved. But we played it, and Ken shuts it off, and he says, "Oh, I see how this is. So we can play your game, but you're not going to play all of my song." And Ken's like, "No, dude, we're not playing 3 minutes of your Slim Shady parody."
Oh my God.
Okay, this is happening on air. Like, at this point, I'm just kind of sitting there. And so then we go into break, and he starts cussing. God damn, it's hot in here. Can we turn down the air conditioning and blah, blah, blah. And is just going off about how hot it is in the studio, which really, he's just hungover.
Yeah. I mean, how long is he supposed to be there? Like 10 minutes?
Right. And so it was a total disaster. So, and all this unfolded on air, and, it was kind of a thing. So we think we have to make light of this. So we take the song, "It's a Sunshine Day, Everybody's Doing It,"
Yeah.
from the Brady Bunch, and we slice in all of Greg Brady's cussing,
Oh, nice.
Great.
His tirade.
Barry Williams, tirade. And so it was like, "It's a sunshine day. God damn, it's hot in here. Everybody's laughing. Sunshine," and so we played that back. We got in huge trouble with the Civic Center, which was, they were the ones hosting that particular show. Like, I think they stopped advertising with us for a while.
Wow.
That's
But we
when
had
you
to
know
do
you're doing a
something.
good job.
We had to do something. It was so awkward.
Yeah. I mean, Barry Williams, another guy that didn't even return our phone calls.
Yeah.
Listen, it's Des
glad.
Moines, Iowa. Okay, we don't get the same people that Chicago does in morning radio. Okay,
hey, you had
We don't get
Obama.
the same.
That's huge.
It was huge. Well, when it comes to politics, we get, because we are, the first state to caucus. So
Right.
that's a big to do.
I did not know that. I'm saying right. Like, of course I knew that. I had no idea.
Yeah,
You should, Matt.
I probably should.
that's all right. That's all right. I'm not judging. That's about all I know.
Oh, it's good stuff. So for people that aren't in the Des Moines, Iowa area that want to listen to your radio segments, even
Yeah.
the show,
Yeah.
best place to do so online.
Yeah. You can just go to star1025.com. You can stream us live while you're sitting at your computer, or also there's plenty of places to listen back to a variety of things that we did on the show that day. Or if you go to podcasts and search for Ken, Colleen, and Kurt, you will come up with our our podcast that we have up there.
Awesome.
Cool.
And are you guys on Twitter as well?
Yeah, you can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Ken, Colleen, and Kurt, Instagram, star1025.com. We're pretty active, although I can't take credit for that.
You're not into the Twitters.
No, and I can't even.
But you
I
got
can't
all the
even
great
say that.
ideas, like us doing the calisthenics and everything.
I know. I need to get our producer Kurt tells me I need to be more active on, like he says, Instagram is more the place to be.
We have this conversation all the time.
I
as well.
tend to lean more heavily on Facebook, but he's pushing me into new places like Snapchat, which is super foreign to me.
Yeah.
My kids like the filters.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
That's why we got Phil. That's why we got Phil.
Good job, Phil.
Keeps us grounded with the youth.
Speaking of Phil, we like to end all of our guest interviews with some silly cinema cues, we call them.
Okay.
Get to know the guest through the eye of the lens. Phil, you got something for Colleen?
Yeah, I do. This one's actually not only a cinema cue, but also going to settle a score between the two guys.
Excellent.
We recently had a cinema war over who is a bigger jerk in movies, and since you had Barry Williams on being a jerk to you on air, I wanted to ask which of these movie jerks you would rather have on with you.
Okay.
Bill Lumbergh, the boss from Office Space, or Biff Tannen from Back to the Future.
This would be on the air, on the radio.
No. Well, I mean, I think Biff might be better radio. I think he could be a little more fun. He'd probably cuss, which might get us an FCC fine.
You got a 5-second delay, right?
We do have,
Okay.
yeah. We've never had to use it. I hope it works.
Have Biff on and find out.
Why? What was who picked who in the war?
Ryan had Biff,
And I won.
and he won.
Okay.
I tried real
What was
hard.
your reasoning?
This is going back a few weeks. I don't remember, but what was the exact war?
Matt doesn't remember what happened 5 minutes ago.
Yeah,
It's
that's
probably
okay.
true.
Yeah.
All right.
This is Colleen, Matt.
Yes, my name's Colleen.
Very nice to meet you.
Yeah. No, I mean, we had both excellent points, but Biff's just a bigger jerk in general.
That was it, right? Who's the bigger jerk?
Yeah.
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 Lumbergh sucks, though. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Everybody's
I mean,
had that boss.
Well, yeah.
I agree. That was everything, Phil?
That was.
Good stuff. So
All right.
Colleen is sitting in on this entire job. She has her 5 favorite up-and-coming actresses
I sure
in
do.
Hollywood. And the other great thing is, maybe because she's an on-air personality, Matt, Colleen sees a lot of movies. She's up to date with what's going on in Hollywood, and she has kids,
This
so
is
she
great.
sees a lot of Pixar movies and everything. So.
Frankly, she's more up to date than most of the filmmakers we have on.
Well, because they're into their own thing.
They are.
You know, they
For
got
sure.
their own projects.
Yes.
That's what they call them, right? Projects.
Projects.
Sure. Yes.
I like that. Yeah. Let's keep this thing rolling. Let's get to Eye for an Eye, interest or ignore. Talk to me, Phil.
All right, this week on Eye for an Eye, Pacific Rim Uprising. Jake Pentecost, son of Stacker Pentecost, reunites with Mako Mori to lead a new generation of Jaeger pilots, including rival Lambert and a 15-year-old hacker, Amara, against a new kaiju threat. The film stars Scott Eastwood, John Boyega, and Charlie Day. It is directed by Stephen S. DeKnight, who is making his directorial debut on the big screen after some TV directing credits that include episodes of Daredevil and Smallville. Rye, we throw it on over to you.
Matt, let's recap my experience with the first Pacific Rim.
Okay.
All right, we'll start there. Guillermo del Toro. I missed the movie in the theater, which is
that's a shame.
right?
Yeah.
Big mistake.
Big
Andy.
mistake.
Yeah.
Here it is, this big movie. So I live in a condo, people below me, people above me, but I have a pretty good surround sound system. And I thought the only way I can do this movie justice is to really get
Piss
this
off your neighbors.
Yeah, really give this thing a workout. So it was probably the loudest I had ever watched a movie. I tried to do it at about 6 o'clock, so it wasn't too late. I watched it. I remember the subwoofer was so loud in this movie. All the dishes in my kitchen were clinging.
Nice.
So I listened to it as you're supposed to, and I enjoyed the hell out of it, except I was upset I didn't see it on a bigger screen.
It's awesome.
Loved it. All that said, what the hell are they making a sequel for? Who is this director? Eastwood's kids in this movie? Ignore.
Okay.
Matt.
Yeah. So I got a feeling I know where Colleen's going here. I love Guillermo del Toro. I think
Yeah.
he's a genius. What he did with Pacific Rim was awesome, but I don't know. I'm scared that they can't capture lightning in a bottle twice. I think it was a crap movie that Guillermo del Toro somehow turned into an amazing movie. And
That's a good good.
Yeah, without him, I'm not sure. Boyega, big time fan. Giant monsters and robots fighting, sure. And Jaeger, who doesn't love Jaeger, right? But I'm not. I guess ignore on this one.
Wow.
Really?
2 ignores as we swing it to Colleen.
Oh,
Interest
no,
or ignore,
you
Colleen?
guys, interest. I cannot wait.
Sell me on
I don't
this.
think you understand. It's bigger monsters. I forget what they call them that creep out from the underworld or wherever.
Kaiju.
The kaiju, yes. Even better robots.
Better robots.
The only thing, the only thing that it's missing is, who was the leading man that was in the first one?
I forget
Throw it in the
actor's
jaw
name.
box.
Super
Throw
hot
it in the
guy.
jaw box.
The
The
dude-
real hot guy,
Yeah, the
Phil,
real
that was
hot
in
guy.
Pacific Rim.
I mean,
From
that's-
Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah.
From
Who was that
Oh, and I
hot
just
guy?
finished watching that.
Phil will look
Is
it
it
up
Ron
for us.
Perlman? Because
It's
I know
not Ron Perlman.
I know
For
Ron
the
Perlman
love
was
of
in the
God,
first one,
no,
but he was
it's
in
not
Sons of
Ron
Anarchy
Perlman.
too, wasn't he?
Yes,
He was, and
Phil
he
Not
is.
to say the hot guy, but I'm almost positive he was.
Yeah,
in
who was
that.
Jax in Sons of Anarchy?
Yes.
We'll look it up.
Okay,
Yeah.
anyway, aside from that, and they are missing the steamy, because he was, nice to look at throughout the whole one.
For sure.
But I just think it looks really fun. I mean, there's just so much action and there's so much great tension. All right. I hope I'm not wrong about this, but I
Phil.
am psyched.
Phil, Colleen's very psyched. Me and Matt give it ignores. What do you got, buddy?
Well, I actually have a lot of emotional investment to the first
geez.
one.
We shouldn't have asked him.
No, because I remember that was I was in high school at the time that the first one came out.
Stop
and that
dating
was
us,
like,
dude.
I mean, seriously.
No, see, but like that was like it was. I remember I made a joke after that movie to this girl in my friends group, and it was the first time I wooed a female. So there's a sentimental value.
We really shouldn't have asked him.
So,
Did he
so
say the first time?
yeah.
That's nice.
Also, probably the last time.
We were already doing Cinemajaw when that movie came out.
But so I mean, for that alone, I would say yes. But then also, I do like, as what I like to bring up often, Cinemajaw's resident Japanese guy. I mean, like, I would be remiss to miss a kaiju film. Like, I feel like my ethnicity demands that I see it.
All right, that's an interested.
Yeah.
By the
All
way,
right.
Charlie Hunnam.
Oh, she already ruined the
Yes.
jaw box. Dang
Well
it.
done.
Sorry.
Well,
It's
see if
okay.
there was another hot guy in the movie, Phil.
Sorry.
Definitely not
And
Ron
who's
Perlman.
not Ron Perlman?
Yeah.
Right before we started recording, I did throw this question out onto Twitter.
Yeah. So it's a split house, right? So we'll let a jawhead decide.
Yeah, read the
And
best response.
We got one from Jason McKeever, and he said, I'm more interested in how they thought people forgot how bad Pacific Rim was already. My 12-year-old son said after the preview, that looks like a stupid version of Transformers.
Ooh.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah.
Ouch.
That counts as an
Ouch.
Did
ignore,
I
but
just get put in my place
no.
by a 12-year-old?
I don't think so, because Jason, the original Pacific Rim was awesome. So I don't agree with you there necessarily.
Also, when was the last time his kid watched Transformers? Because
They're
those are
really
bad.
They're really
Even
bad.
like
I
the
agree.
last good thing was the '80s cartoon, man.
Yeah, once they
Yeah.
introduced Mark Wahlberg. I mean, right?
Yeah.
Actually, that probably brought it up a notch from Shia LaBeouf, but not much. It was a very
Well, we are totally split on Pacific Rim Uprising. 2 interested,
I hope it's
2 ignores.
good.
I do too.
So, speaking of new movies, me and Matt got out and saw a new one.
We did. Tomb Raider. Video game icon Lara Croft is back to burgle another tomb. Will this movie contain a secret treasure, or will it be Al Capone's vault? Rye and I followed the map to the theater to find out.
I thought I saw Dad again. I think I'm going mad.
Lara, your father's gone. At some point, we have to face up to who we are, who we're meant to be.
I think I know where my dad went.
That's right in the middle of the Devil's Sea.
It'll be an adventure.
Death is not an adventure.
As our young producer Phil had to explain to me, this latest installment of Tomb Raider is not a reboot of the movie franchise per se, as much as it is a movie adaptation of the rebooted video game franchise, if that does anything for you. Here we meet Lara Croft, played by Alicia Vikander, pre-adventures, as a down-to-earth rich girl with daddy issues. Those can be forgiven, though, since her Richard Branson-esque father, Lord Richard Croft, played by Dominic West, has been missing for several years, leaving her alone and angsty. Upon finally accepting her father's death and signing the certificates and business papers, Lara is given a strange wooden puzzle. This leads to her father's secret vault office, which contains notes, maps, recordings, all about a project called... Who cares? She follows the map to Skull Island, or whatever the hell it's called, and winds up captured by a madman who may have killed her father and forced to raid a tomb. Ugh. Everyone will want to know, after such a great job done in Ex Machina, how was Vikander? She was good. That's it. Good. Probably saved the movie from being a complete and total waste of time. I would also actually highlight Walton Goggins, who plays the villain, which is easily my favorite character in the movie. He has this slimy menace to him, which I found believable in an otherwise dumb as hell situation. And let's talk about dumb. Bad CG of completely nonsensical action pieces get lined up like so many turd-flavored Pez candies in a dispenser shaped like a film studio flicking the audience a middle finger. Boo. Try harder. I think the Transformers movies are more believable. Brains should usually get unplugged for this type of film, which it can be fun, right? But then when there is instance after instance of sheer stupidity, like when the villain, who's been blasting the island with explosives to find the tomb for the whole time, the whole movie, suddenly needs Lara to open the tomb door, which I guess is somehow blast-proof, I just can't suspend my disbelief. I think you'll have more fun playing Temple Run than watching this movie. I think you might have more fun watching Temple Run than watching this movie. I mean, I love big, dumb action as much as the next guy, and I do love me a strong female lead. I'm even a fan of the games and this character, but sadly, this does little to invigorate a film series that already sucked.
Wow, you are hard on this movie.
Ripping it to shreds.
Let me tell you, Matt, if you summed it up in a whopping 6 words, it would be a hanging, dirt-sprayed Alicia Vikander. Boy, could this girl dangle from just about any cliff possible.
Yes.
There were elements...
Which is a video game move.
Here, I actually like that you just poo-pooed on. That being said, though, the puzzle solving and mystery of what the island holds, I enjoyed. The story as a whole, I agree, is weak from point A to the very end. It's very loose to even call it a full-on story here. But I actually give the filmmakers credit on the main set pieces. I like those. I liked Lara Croft's escape from the workers' camp, which sees her jump into the river.
Dude, let's talk about that, because that sucked.
She jumps into a river and then almost goes over the waterfall, only to be saved by that old abandoned airplane that's just a skeleton of itself.
Okay, that was cool.
That entire element I thought was very exciting. And also the big moments inside the tomb itself, filled with traps, such as the floor starting to disappear underneath them as they got to try to solve a puzzle.
Goonies.
It worked for me. I was excited. It reminded me a little bit of, say, The Mummy with Brendan Fraser. About that level of excitement. I enjoyed it.
No, The Mummy is 100 times better than this movie.
Those big scenes worked for me. The connection here between Laura and her father, on the other hand, very clumsy. That ultimately hurts the arc of her character as a whole and keeps it from being a much better film. It was probably what I expected from a rebooted Tomb Raider movie or a movie on a rebooted Tomb Raider video game, whatever you want to say. That's what I got.
So are you
it wasn't
saying
terrible.
You liked Angelina Jolie better as Lara Croft?
That's a good question. Where would you stay right there? I would actually probably say slight edge to Vikander. Vikander, I would say.
You're going Vikander.
Yeah.
Oh, you are?
Slight
Okay.
edge. Yeah.
See, I think this is a tough one. It really is, because Vikander is playing it way more serious than
Right.
The
movie
Angelina
as a
Jolie.
whole is.
Sure.
The whole movie is much more serious
I
toned.
think it's to its detriment. She's objectively or subject whatever. She's a better actress, I guess, at least in this role. You know, because she's playing it more seriously. Where I think that they were going for sort of that video game camp in the first films.
That's interesting, because I just read an article from the director of the first one that said Angelina Jolie was a really hard sell to cast because she was at the time like a little too edgy. She was at that point of her career, and they didn't think she could pull off a character that they wanted to be real likable.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, so I'm surprised.
And I think sort of on that note, I think one of these struggles for the filmmakers to convince the audience was that Alicia Vikander can actually be this quote-unquote badass action hero, because I mean, she is like a petite-framed girl that is about to do these absolutely amazing things and some strength. She actually kills a guy with basically just choking him out at one point.
With her legs?
With her arms.
She
actually
definitely
chokes him out.
uses her legs to sort of
She
get
didn't
control.
pull a Bond girl move?
No. She uses, I mean, she chokes him out with her arms.
Okay. Well, that's impressive.
Yeah, so I think they have to sell you on the idea that she can be this big action star, be Laura Croft, and they do that two ways right at the beginning. You see that she is a boxer in the very beginning, so she's training to be boxing, and she's getting choked out herself. They're scared that she'd almost rather die than tap out of this match that she's in. And then secondly, much like our editor Phil, she is like a bike messenger, which leads to this bike chase scene that is probably the most exciting bike chase scene since Premium Rush with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, if you've ever seen that movie.
Yes, that's funny.
It has a really well-filmed action sequence all on bikes throughout the city of London, which was a fun way to get the movie started.
I agree.
Also from my notes, couple things I gotta
challenge you on this escape part, but go ahead with your notes.
Okay, things that also I had underlined. There is a wonderful scene here in a pawn shop where she goes to trade in a gem, and who's behind the desk at the pawn shop? Nick Frost.
We'll get to that.
Okay,
when we do
you like that?
Yes.
Okay, so you enjoy that, and then also there's a line in this movie, and it's a callback line, and you know these. This may give the X-Files movie a run for its money on the worst callback line of all time. If you'll remember in the X-Files movie, and I'm talking about the original, there's this movie part where Gillian Anderson tries to fool Fox Mulder. Fox Mulder at one point jokes with her like, "Oh, got you. I totally had you," was the line, like, joking. And then at the end, when they're trying to get out of this alien spacecraft and almost dead, Gillian Anderson plays dead for some reason, and she's like, "I totally had you." Well, it's so dumb,
Okay.
So the line in this one, even when they said it, I thought it was ridiculous. And don't bleep this one out, Phil. One character says to the other, "At least we're not dead yet." And the character responds, "No shit." That's the line. And then it comes up at the end of the movie, and it's like, you
It's
really
like
can't be using that as a callback
It's
line.
like
so
I
bad.
love you,
So
I know.
bad.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree. It was crap. Now, just really quick, that escape, horrible. I mean,
I enjoyed it.
all right,
Wait, you
no.
mean the escape from the tomb itself or
No.
the floor? Oh, you mean the escape from when she's in the workers' camp?
Right.
Early on.
So they get, once they reach this island, they get captured and they're forced into this labor camp, right?
Okay. That reminds me of like Rambo.
Very much so.
Mm-hmm.
So they're being like guarded with guys with machine guns up on like, higher ground. And you would think when you're surrounded by armed men with automatic rifles that you have to formulate a plan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Their whole plan is run, go. That's it. That was it. Like,
no.
That has never worked, by the way.
and it somehow works for Lara Croft.
Okay.
My main complaint on is that she has some help from a friend that got her.
And they put them
there.
right together.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
But
Is that Alex? By the way, is there an Alex in this Tomb Raider?
know. I don't think his name is Alex. No.
Okay, it's a different guy.
But this gentleman ends up hitting a couple of guards with a shovel, which is the only weapon that they have, which allows Laura to run.
That's
But
the diversion.
But for some reason, everybody is like trying to shoot Laura Croft. Well, this guy is just knocking everybody out with the shovel. No one goes after him, and he's the one causing all the damage. Let Laura go. Who cares, right? But for some reason, it works, I guess,
Yeah,
for
I
the
guess.
movie.
I guess.
But and then the hanging. She must hang in this movie 10 times. There's 10 different moments where she basically is fingertips away from death.
It's probably what she did when she auditioned. So they're like, do the hanging thing.
Yeah. That's your
That's
signature move.
That's your move.
Yeah. It's a good portion of the runtime of this film is Alicia Vikander.
Hanging or biking, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so it sounds like there's a lot of good stuff to get into for our questions here, but before we do, I real quick want to ask one thing about the bike scene.
Okay.
I just want to see if they got it realistic to how it actually is. Was there ever a point when Lara was riding her bike and then she threatened to beat the shit out of an Uber driver with her U-lock? If they didn't have that, it's not real.
Not quite, but she almost gets hit by a car door,
Yeah.
as so many do.
Yeah, I've had that happen. All right. Let's get into the real stuff now. How about favorite scenes?
Mine's the pawn shop. This is the Nick Frost cameo. She has this priceless amulet that her father gave her, And because she finds these notes and is about to go on this adventure, she needs the capital. So she goes to the pawn shop to sell it, and it's Nick Frost behind the glass. And they have a very fun exchange that does come up again later in the movie. That was my favorite scene, which really has nothing to do with the story.
And mine actually would be, and this is like the second end of the escape scene. Yes, when she finally gets away from the workers, it is a little corny, as we mentioned. But after that, she has sort of an Indiana Jones moment where she keeps...
Man, you are being so generous
When
here.
I'm saying that, I'm not comparing it to the greatness of Indiana Jones. What I'm using that as a reference to is she has one of those moments where it just keeps getting worse and worse for her. So she ends up like jumping into a river, which brings her to the edge of this waterfall, and she gets on the skeleton of a plane. Once she gets on the skeleton of the plane, her weight actually starts to cause the wing of the plane to break, which gets her into the hull of the plane, which causes that to start to break. It's a pretty funny moment, and she finally gets all the way down, fully escapes from this camp. I enjoyed the heck out of that, especially the
that
look.
was a fun piece.
The look of the airplane and the wing over the waterfall. Whoever envisioned that and came up with this idea to even film it that way, that was awesome. I loved it, man.
I agree. That was a cool part, for sure.
Yeah, that was my favorite. I also did enjoy their ship crashing into the island all the way up till the very end when she did that ridiculous jump off the. It was like, oh, you can't have her jump 17 feet high. This is dumb.
The whole thing
up
with
until that jump.
CG and
I didn't
terrible.
mind it.
Nah,
All right. So it sounds like there's a lot of stuff to hate. Let's keep it to the number one least favorite scenes.
All right. So we talked about her choking this guy out, right?
Yep.
This is an armed soldier of
Okay.
fortune. She chokes him out face down in the mud. She's won this fight for her life, and she doesn't take his gun. She's in the jungle alone. She's got no food, no equipment. She doesn't even have a flashlight. Here's a guy who's dripping
Yeah.
with gear and equipment and weapons.
Not well thought out.
No,
Yeah.
take the gun. At least the gun. That
Yep.
pissed me off.
Okay. Okay.
For me, Matt, you enjoyed the villain in this movie.
I did.
But our introduction to the villain is like lifted right out of a bad James Bond movie. We get Laura Croft hit over the head, screen goes black, and then she awakes and she's in the main villain's basically bedroom, this little camp tent, and wakes up, and it's just, we've seen this so many times. Here he is, starts to talk about Laura Croft, and he killed her dad, and it's like, what? How does this happen? And we keep seeing the same thing repeated movie after movie. I thought that was weak writing.
That's
Okay.
that's the part.
I hated it.
Okay.
How about parents? We've had a lot of names thrown around. Let's see what you guys got it down to.
Influences, parents, Matt.
Got it. I didn't necessarily do parents, but I guess if National Treasure and Temple Run, even though that's not a movie, it's a video game, had a child, it would be this movie.
I went with what I had said earlier, The Mummy. It was probably, I don't think it quite hit the adventure level of The Mummy, but that's the closest to. I'm not the biggest Mummy fan, but I enjoy it.
No.
I think there's people out there that'll like Tomb Raider.
And you are the first person to mention Brandon Fraser in the past, I don't know, 10 years? I mean,
It's been a while.
What happened? I think he had a nervous breakdown.
Something happened.
Rumor has it he's all mummified and in a tomb.
Yeah, no, that's what happened.
Laura Croft needs to go find Brendan Fraser's career.
Put him in a headlock.
How about what did you guys learn from Tomb Raider?
That going through the motions is not enough to deliver a good film. There's take a little bit more time and effort with something. It was just some really shoddy work.
I learned the easiest way to speed up a movie is to just not show the heavyset guys going over a makeshift bridge, which is basically a ladder that is over this large canyon or chasm or whatever you want to call it. Basically, they put down this ladder, and it's a big moment for her to cross the ladder. You can only imagine how tough that would be, with all these spaces. And then there's like 5 guys behind her. And I thought to myself, like, well, geez, if anything, she would probably have it maybe a little bit easier because this ladder is very weak. She gets across, she's pretty nimble. And I thought, well, I can't wait to see what the other guys do. And then the next shot is everybody's on the other side of them.
Oh, yeah, of course.
They all made it over so much easier. We spent, 2 minutes watching her cross and then cut and all 5 people are on the other side.
I mean, I didn't really want to watch all of them cross one by one, Rye, got to be honest.
I would have liked it.
How about movie poster quotes?
I hate to keep beating up on Temple Run, but mine is just play Temple Run instead and save the $12.
Mine is more hanging off a cliff than cliffhanger. More dirt than Dirty Harry. This is Tomb Raider.
Too generous, man.
Hey,
Because Cliffhanger was a good movie.
Compared to this, yes.
but this had more cliffhanging. That's all
Okay.
I'm saying.
It definitely
Okay.
had
It
more
does.
cliffhanging. How are you scoring this one here?
2 Jaws. 2 Jaws. I think it's a solid C of a movie. I don't think it's terrible. I think it's a solid C.
Man, what happened to you, Rye the Movie Guy? This is my first one Jaw movie of 2018.
Wow.
Really?
It's a
All right.
crapper. Yeah.
I can't believe this.
Listen, there's some fun here, I guess, but it's really few and far between, and it doesn't sew it together in a satisfying way. So skip it.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Save me $12.
All right, Matt.
Yeah.
I'm doing one other review. And
we're
we've
going
all
back to
seen
back
this one.
here?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. We've seen this one. This is our Cinemajaw movie club of the pick. Matt and I picked a Best Picture winner for our first Jaw movie club of the pick this year. Winner of the big prize in 1983, Terms of Endearment Sports and All-Star Cast with the likes of Shirley MacLaine, Jack Nicholson, Jeff Daniels, and Deborah Winger. But the question is, how does it hold up 35 years later?
Deborah Winger is Emma Greenway Horton.
I got some good news. What's that? I'm unofficially pregnant. If you're not happy for me, I'm gonna get so mad if you're not happy.
Shirley MacLaine is Aurora Greenway, her mother.
Why should I? Why should I be happy about being a grandmother?
For not having seen Terms of Endearment, I am actually very familiar with it. The story spans 30-year relationship between a mother, Shirley MacLaine, and a daughter, Deborah Winger. The film opens with the two, Emma, just 5 years old at the time, coming home from the funeral of their husband/dad. One thing is expressed early on. MacLaine's character, Aurora, loves her daughter, Emma, very much. As a child needs a mother at that age, it's clear Aurora needs her daughter just as much. Written and directed by the great James L. Brooks, the film speeds through their lives. It sees Emma fall in love with Flap, played by Jeff Daniels, in a role not far removed from Dumb and Dumber. It sees an astronaut, Garrett, played by Jack Nicholson, move next door to Aurora and always be a person of interest to her. Eventually, Emma marries and has kids with Flap and moves to Iowa. Meanwhile, Aurora and Garrett finally start up a relationship. We see the difficulties of life in these small snapshots of time as the characters age and grow apart. However, during a routine checkup at the doctor's office, a lump is found under Aurora's arm. Now everyone must adjust and come together. The film, while being a whopper of an emotion at the end, is actually a family comedy for the most part. This is mainly achieved by the witty writing of James L. Brooks. Funny dialogue gives way to some memorable scenes. Maybe none more memorable than Shirley MacLaine and Jack Nicholson driving his Corvette on the beach after having a few too many drinks. Classic cinema. Maybe it was the pacing of the story. At least that's what I attribute it to, but I never really felt it connected with these characters. Even when Emma is sick in the hospital at a young age with young kids she still needs to raise, I never felt a heavy emotional wallop starting for myself. I did enjoy seeing some of these Hollywood greats at a young age clearly having fun with a witty script. I cannot say this is a must-see film for people who have not seen it. I don't know. Matt, do you feel the same?
Well, first of all, I did get the emotional connection at the end of this film.
Yes.
I really did, man. I got in touch with it.
You did.
Yeah, and I loved. First of all, how old is Jack Nicholson?
Like 1,000. He is 1,000 years old, and he looks the same. He is still banging 19-year-old girls. There is no doubt about it.
Good on you, Jack. But I mean, dude, this movie is 35 years old, and he already looks like he's well into his 50s in this movie. So, Jesus Christ, Jack Nicholson is so suave. I love every second he is on screen. Their relationship, I think, is the most interesting part of the entire movie.
Him and Aurora? Mm-hmm. Yes. They had good sexual chemistry, I thought.
Yeah, they had good chemistry,
good tennis.
period.
There was good sexual tension. It was believable. I thought it was believable.
Yeah.
And I mean, Shirley MacLaine, okay, in the hospital, when she addresses the nurses.
Okay, that is my favorite scene, for sure. And I've seen this particular clip in film montages before.
Yes.
And yes, that moment was probably... I welled up a little bit right at that moment. I mean, she's screaming at the nurses.
Give my daughter the shot.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's 10 p.m.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, I see why she won the Oscar that year. It's pretty
Yes.
clear in about a 2-minute scene that it's one of the most memorable in movie history.
And you didn't think, see, here's my thing, and this is what anybody, I think, who sees this, who's a parent, is that, what a shame that the decent parent is the one that has cancer and is going to die. Are you kidding me? That in itself is heartbreaking. The cheating, lying, stupid, as you summed up, basically Dumb and Dumber parent is going to
Silly
end
name,
up raising
Flap.
these
Yeah,
children.
what's up with that name, Flap?
I don't know.
That's
I
a horrible.
laughed.
It's a horrible name.
I couldn't believe his name was
My
Flap.
mom died, and my dad, Flap, has been picking up the slack. I don't think so. That doesn't even, which is why there's a sequel to this.
So you
and
guys-
the kids end up just rotten in the sequel.
In Dumb and Dumber.
I think there's implications that the kids aren't.
Because do you guys know what I'm saying about the Dumb and Dumber reference? When we first meet Flap, I thought he was playing it so goofy. I was like, oh my God, he's literally playing his character from Dumb and Dumber
Well,
in
he
this
would have
serious
been.
movie.
He would have been playing his character from Terms of Endearment in Dumb and Dumber.
Right.
True, but you know what I'm
Right,
saying.
you're
I
right.
do. I do.
Flap was the inspiration for.
Okay, wait a second.
Okay.
I actually want to explore this a little bit
Okay.
because. So you mentioned how terrible of a person Flap is, right? Because he does cheat here, but she cheats too, right? And then she doesn't. I think we can totally just spoil this movie.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's 35 years old.
It's
Right.
like also the Titanic sinks.
She has a moment where she could let him off the hook, right? And
Yeah.
tell him that she also. So don't feel terrible about yourself because I also cheated on you. I'm not sure. Okay, so it may have been generous of her to not lay that on him.
Right.
But it may have also been selfish of her to take that secret to her grave and not let him off the hook and let him think he's a piece of
The
shit.
one thing that Matt's missing is she had an affair with the alien from The Third Rock from the Sun. John Lithgow is in this.
Right.
So maybe that's why.
What a weird Lithgow performance.
I had no
Well-
idea he was in this movie.
Yeah, surprise.
Yeah.
No, I was mostly weeping, especially, through the end of that.
yeah.
At the end although to your point, right, it is a comedy. There is a lot of comedy, up, and especially Jack Nicholson. I mean, he lightens the mood.
Right.
Even
early on, I think one of the very first scenes, they come in and you're seeing Shirley MacLaine as a young mother, and they're coming home, obviously, from maybe a night of drinking. And she's worried about the baby in the crib. And she's like, she's not making any noise.
Yeah, she's dead. It's crib death.
Crib death. I already laughed out
Right.
loud. These funny lines
Right.
that James L. Brooks had written
Right.
are pretty memorable. So, yeah.
Classic.
Classic. As far as a favorite scene, I'll get it going here. If I don't have to say a scene, just the music. Because I'm so familiar with the score
yeah.
that when it came on, I thought, yeah, I'm glad I'm watching this. And I think we have a little bit of the music.
It's very relaxing.
Right.
Isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I guess it fits the end of the movie, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah, sometimes it's a little bit probably too dramatic at times, but I've seen that used in other trailers when they haven't quite scored a film. It comes up, it's played in, again, film montages and such. To finally sit down and see it where it was originally used was pretty neat.
What's the name of that song? Just curious.
It's the score of the movie.
Okay.
It's the original score.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Donuts in the sand, guys. That's my favorite scene.
Sure.
That's it. You mentioned it. Corvette on the beach doing donuts in the sand. Hell yeah.
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 Jack Nicholson is driving with his feet.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's great, I think, too, because they're such movie stars, seeing Shirley MacLaine and Jack Nicholson, granted older still, but younger and having fun, and he grabs her and pulls her into the water. It's quite a moment. It's like, oh, this is pretty neat. I see why this was a special film when it came out.
Yep.
No doubt.
How about least favorite scenes? What we got?
Okay. The very, very, very end of this movie, after Emma passes on and they're sort of at her wake in the backyard, and there's this tender moment where Garrett, Jack Nicholson's character, goes over to Emma's son. I think he's like 11 or 12.
Mm-hmm.
And he's, obviously not having a good day, let's say.
Right.
He's not connecting to his dad. He's not connecting to his grandmother. He's not connecting to his brother. He's very isolated. And here comes an astronaut, and he's like, I hear you're a swimmer. And they have this exchange, which on the surface is really sweet. This bit of a curmudgeon-y neighbor is trying to connect with this little boy. But if you listen to the dialogue, it just comes across as very weird and creepy. He's like, you want to see my pool? I learned this special stroke up in space. Come on over. And it bothered me.
Hey, I'm gonna keep it going with creepy and weird.
Okay.
There's one actor we didn't mention that is in this, also a big name, Danny DeVito.
Yes.
Plays this little creep. And I mean, he just is infatuated with Deborah Winger's character.
No, he's
Shirley MacLaine.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Right.
Shirley MacLaine's character, to the point where all he does is sort of like have these goo eyes, and it's just weird and creepy. Maybe one scene, okay, I can laugh at, but it comes up like 2 or 3 times, these
Okay.
different dinner scenes.
She keeps these male admirers around, I guess, to like
Right.
build up her ego or
It's
something.
ridiculous.
Yeah. Right.
It was still good.
How about influences on this one?
I got nothing, man.
Yeah,
What do
it
you
was
got?
tough because I didn't think earlier, but a film it reminded me of, I think because of the lifespan that we see happen in a very short period of time, was Mr. Holland's Opus with Richard Dreyfuss, where you see him sort of starting as a young teacher and going through all the spans of growing up and a family, and it happens in a fast-paced, or almost the same type of pace we see here in terms of Endearment.
I think I can come up with one on the fly here. It's Complicated. Remember that one with
Yeah.
Baldwin and Streep? It sort of has the same tone, at least as far as the comedy. So
Okay.
How about what did you guys learn from this one?
Okay, we get this question every review we do. What did you learn? I actually learned something that I don't mind coming off a bit embarrassing, or at the same time, maybe Matt and Phil don't know this either, but
that you do calisthenics before the show?
Yes.
interesting. No, because I watched this, and so I started researching like the movie and then the
Sure.
actors and
You go down the
actresses,
rabbit hole, right?
I did not know, so I may sound totally goofy on this. I did not know, but I learned that Shirley MacLaine is Warren Beatty's older sister.
Interesting.
Wow.
I didn't know
anybody?
that.
I think I had known that and forgotten it. But yeah, no, it was definitely not something like in my working memory.
I had no idea. I mean, I've heard these names and I know these actors and actresses so well, and I was actually floored to find out that Shirley MacLaine and Warren Beatty are siblings. I had no idea.
Maybe there's some nepotism going on in Hollywood.
Phil, did you even know who we're talking about?
I do. I know both of them, but I
Which
didn't
is
know that.
Yeah.
interesting because, again, you're bringing up an actor. What has Warren Beatty been doing?
Well, actually, he's pretty
been screwing
relevant.
up the Oscars. Yeah.
Screwed up the Oscars. Then they had him back.
That is exactly correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much all he's been doing.
Man, rough.
Poster here? Anything?
No.
I got Best Picture 1983 question mark.
You know, that's interesting. We should talk about what else was nominated. But here's my poster quote. Get a tub of ice cream and a box of Kleenex.
Nice. Yes. Very nice.
That's what you do,
Yeah.
right, with this movie. You
Yeah, I mean, you're going to cry.
you
And
laugh,
watch
you
it with
cry,
your
and-
mother. Mother-daughter relationships are complicated. It's like Lady Bird. I mean, to bring it to a more relevant
Sure.
movie. I mean, that was the woman who directed Lady Bird was like, you ask any woman on the street about her relationship with her mother, and she's going to tell you it's going to take a little while. Like, it's going to be a conversation. It's not going to be a one-word answer. And that sums up that movie to me.
Do you think they had a healthy relationship? Or was it like, because Shirley MacLaine is clearly like
No,
very
she was
codependent.
totally, yes, and very overbearing. But I mean, that's how some mothers are. I mean, that would have been my mother in the lobby, give her medicine. Where's
Right.
her shot? That. And I think that a lot of women can relate to that.
Ultimately, though, they had this good friendship. So I think it
Yeah.
was positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the scene after she leaves Jeff Daniels for a period of time and comes back to Texas. They have that moment where they embrace in the driveway. And it reminds me, I thought it was a very realistic moment where like a daughter would be coming home and that excitement of seeing and having the family together again,
Yeah.
really embraced in the driveway. I enjoyed that.
You softy,
All
right?
right. How many
Yes.
jaws? How many jaws here? We go on a 4-jaw scale, 2.5.
Oh, man. You give Tomb Raider 2 jaws?
There was no hanging. Nobody was on a cliff, right?
Seriously,
I'm insulted.
man. Listen, I don't know if it is the best picture either, but it's 3.5 jaws easily. So I'll go with 3. What do you think? Tom?
Oh, I get to
Yeah,
chime
Charlene,
in?
you get to
Yeah,
chime in.
Awesome. Well, I would go. Can I give a half? I would go 3.5.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Do whatever
I
you
mean,
like.
I would absolutely go 3.5 because I think it's good. It's hard to watch movies from 35 years ago now.
Right.
They all seem a little campy.
A little bit.
Actually, this one I thought held up pretty damn well. I like that it jumps through time. It didn't bore me. I think it holds up.
Good.
Yeah. All right. That was our review, our first movie club pick of the year. In terms of
Good one,
we'll keep them going.
Yes, we'll get a new one. Now, if we were doing our top 5 up-and-comers back in 1983, good chance Deborah Winger lands on there. I mean, she was on a roll. She had Officer and a Gentleman.
That's right.
And back-to-back with Terms of Endearment, got nominated for Oscar for both. She was sort of like the it actress coming up. And
Plus,
then,
she was married to Kip Winger, right? I mean, is that where she got the name?
Oh.
No.
No?
That's a dumb joke, too. Nobody even knows who Kip Winger is.
What?
I legitimately thought that she was related to or married to Winger.
Okay.
All right.
No.
Just because Shirley MacLaine and Jack Nicholson are siblings, it doesn't mean there's a relationship between
Warren
Kip
Beatty,
Winger.
but hey,
Warren
you
Beatty,
never
whatever.
know.
You know what I mean.
It's not exactly a common name.
All right. But that is our topic this week. Our top 5 in honor of Alicia Vikander championing, the Tomb Raider. Big moment for her as she's had probably obviously better roles and better movies, but this is her first starring vehicle in a big motion picture like this. So that's our topic, our top 5 up-and-comers. Our criteria, again, under the age of 30.
Okay.
Colleen, was this a tough list for you to come up to?
Well, I had actresses in mind. I'm not going to lie. I did have to look up some names to double check. I'm not as,
Oh, no, yes. Google is our friend.
handy with the names. But I enjoyed putting it together. That's for sure.
Who do you got sitting at number 5?
At number 5, I have Catherine Longfield. Now, Catherine
Who?
Longfield, you remember as Hannah Baker from 13 Reasons Why, the Netflix television show. But she's starring in the movie that I think you referenced maybe in your last podcast, Love, Simon.
Yes.
Which is the coming-of-age story about the young man coming out to his family and
Right,
friends.
yeah.
And I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of her. I think that 13 Reasons Why really put her on the map, and this kind of coming-of-age movie will as well.
I like it. I like this list right off the bat, Matt, because that is a name that's not on my radar.
Totally.
That's why we're doing this for the most part. So.
Okay.
All right, so guys, I think my names are going to be, for the most part, on the radar. But these are just women that I'm really impressed with.
Yes.
And they fall into the criteria in that they're all under 30, but they are some familiar names.
Good.
And I say up and coming because I think there's still more to come from these people. Daisy Ridley is who I have.
Never heard of her. Never heard of her.
It's funny, right? Because Star Wars is such a cultural phenomenon. But before Force Awakens, who was this person? She literally burst onto the scene. And
It was her big break.
She's a phenom. I just like her face. And I'm not to say that she's beautiful because but something about just watching her talk. She's just a pleasure on screen.
Has that it factor, sort of draws you in.
Yes, well said. Totally.
Okay.
So there's my number 5.
All right, swings it over to my number 5. I also think my list, most will know the names at least, but hopefully I can tell you where they got their starts and such, except for maybe my number 5. Matt probably won't know who I'm speaking of here until I say what movie she was in. I'm speaking of, and I have trouble with her last name, Mia Wasikowska.
Ooh. What is she, Russian?
She is, I believe. Throw it in the jaw box if Mia is Russian. Wasikowska sounds Russian. Actually starts with a W, but I believe they say V, sort of va. Movies.
There's a Yakov Smirnoff joke in here somewhere.
Sure.
The main movies that you guys would know her from is Alice in Wonderland and Alice in the Looking Glass. She was also the lead in Crimson Peak, which was also done by Del Toro.
Yeah.
And then her 2 big ones that I really want to highlight is her excellent turn as Jane Eyre in that adaptation that also starred Michael Fassbender and has a really eerie vibe to it, atmosphere is just creepy and spooky. Seek out Jane Eyre. And also a movie by Chan-Wook Park.
Wow, she's got some great credits here.
Entitled Stoker, in which she was Nicole Kidman's daughter. And the husband dies, and Nicole Kidman's brother, which is her uncle, moves in, played by Matthew Goode. And a really creepy relationship starts there. And I believe it was Chan-Wook Park's first English, after Old Boy, his first English movie.
He's great.
And seek out Stoker and Jane Eyre, and I'm excited to see what Maya does next. So
good pick.
Cool.
There it is. We're into our 4s, Colleen.
All right, number 4 for me is another tough name. Auli Cravalio. Cravalio.
Wow, Phil is going nuts in the fish tank.
Yep.
When she says who it is, she'll know why.
She was Moana.
Oh,
Okay, the voice of Moana. She is starring in television's hottest new series, Rise. Everyone is comparing it to This Is Us. And she's going to be replaying her Moana role in the Wreck-It Ralph sequel that's coming out. I don't know how that's going to fit in to the show, but I think we're going to continue to see more of her as she's just dynamic character. Maybe more so in the Disney Pixar realm, possibly, but hopefully overall. I think she's great. How about her performance at the Academy Awards?
Oh, amazing.
That was last year.
But I always think whenever you have a star that's actually going to sing in front of the audience, it's a risky move.
Yeah.
And she
nailed
aced
it.
Yeah, I mean.
And by the way, I'm not going to be upset if I mispronounced her name. There's this whole thing on YouTube with her and The Rock. Apparently, he was mispronouncing her name during like the first however many months of their press junket when they were doing it. Okay.
Really?
Yeah, and he admits to it. She like says how to say her name, and he's like, "Oh, that's not how I've been saying it."
Well, I mean, he's got such an easy name, right? The Rock. How do you mispronounce that?
It's like Madonna.
Yeah. All right. That swings it around to my number 4. And this is where I slotted in Abigail Breslin. And where the hell has she been, right? Because Little Miss Sunshine.
She was so great in that.
She was amazing in that. And then there's this lesser-known movie, which Rye's going to poo-poo, but I really enjoyed, Maggie, with Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's a zombie father and daughter thing, which sounds weird, but I actually thought it was a pretty good sleeper. Check it out. And she's great in it.
And she's also in Zombieland, I believe.
Yes, that was the zombie movie. I thought I saw her in a zombie movie, but that one didn't sound right to me.
Maggie.
Okay. All right.
It's good. It's 2015, but after that, nothing.
So then why is she on your list?
You're hoping that she comes back for more?
Right. So she's on my list because she was extremely promising. She's under 30, and I want to see more from her.
Yeah. She was great. But maybe she's one of those like child actresses who ends up at Yale and just has no interest in the industry.
Could be.
Maybe.
Which would be disappointing.
Yeah. I did list the ages of my actresses. Mia is 28 years old. I drop it down, 19 years old. I cannot believe this actress is not even 20 yet, because listen to the credits that I have listed here. Super 8, Somewhere, 20th Century Women, The Beguiled, The Neon Demon, Maleficent. I'm speaking of Elle Fanning.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I remember when she first time I ever saw her was in Super 8. And to me, she was already, in my mind anyways, was in that like young teenage age where the boys were already starting to like, they were nervous in the movie about being around her and stuff. It was like, okay, perfect age to cast Elle Fanning in. And then it seems like she sort of stayed that age for 7 years in a row. She still seems that age.
Well, now, are you sure you're not mistaking her with her younger sister, though? Because I have done that.
Older sister.
She is the younger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's the younger.
Who's the older?
Dakota.
That's it. And that's when you said Elle, I imagined Dakota. And that was my thing, is that I have gotten them confused, and neither one of them is aging because one has just been replacing the other.
So it's just all Fanning all the time.
Right. Maybe there's another Fanning we're not aware of.
Maybe.
And younger sister.
Yeah, maybe. But I actually do think that Elle Fanning has already surpassed, because you remember all the hubbub about Dakota Fanning. She was sort of the child prodigy there for a little while. I think if you look at it as is now, Elle Fanning's already surpassed her. And I'm excited to see what she's done more. And if you haven't seen Neon Demon and The Beguiled, put them on the list. They're both great.
And don't shortchange Super 8 either. I think she's kind of the anchor of that film.
For sure. Yeah. There's no doubt at the end of that movie, she's, and probably that lead boy, throw who that kid is into the jaw box. Those two standing there having that sort of moment with the alien coming out and the score playing, it gets me, It's good.
I agree.
So
sort of prototypical of Stranger Things, maybe.
Totally. Yeah.
Okay. Number three.
Yeah.
All right. My number 3 is Catherine Newton. You would have seen her in, she was in 3 Billboards. She was the one who died.
Okay.
Lady Bird. She has been in Big Little Lies. She plays Reese's daughter in that HBO series, which has another sequel coming out, or another season. And she is going to be in Blackers, John Cena.
Oh, nice.
It looks terrible.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I think that we'll be seeing more and more of her because I think she's pretty dynamic. She can play that, that hostile teenager, but then I think she's also got a little comedy in her as well. So look forward to her.
I'm
and
excited.
She's real pretty.
Yeah. I love Big Little Lies, too, so.
How great is that?
That was awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So at number 3, I have, you guys are going to give me more crap for this, but young woman, I'm a big fan. I don't think she's got a mainstream movie off the ground yet, but she's had a lot of awesome indie pictures. Rooney Mara.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Girl with the dragon tattoo.
Yes.
Obviously. And you loved her in Ghost, I'm sure you were going to bring
Not
up, right?
Ghost. Ghost Story, please.
Ghost Story, yeah, not Ghost.
She was excellent in Ghost Story. That's when I would say I was fully on board. Maybe it's because I hate her sister so much, which is Kate Mara. She looks like a little mouse.
I'm not familiar with her sister.
She was in I think the first season of House of Cards.
Okay.
I don't know what else.
Well,
Okay.
Rooney, on
Yes.
the other hand, the American adaptation of Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, awesome. Probably not as good as the Swedish, but I think that she's going to have a breakout hit where she's sort of the leading lady. It just hasn't arrived yet. So.
Okay.
No, I like it. Good pick.
Thanks.
I'm excited for that one. My number 3 pick, and this may come as a little bit of a shocker because this actress actually started as a superstar, I guess. Once everybody knew her name, she was a superstar. And I think it takes a special person to sort of step away from that, start with some indie films, and then grow from there. My number 3, Phil.
My brother died here. My twin brother died in Paris.
An accident?
No. No, heart attack. I actually have the same malformation.
Does it scare you?
No, I didn't scare him.
You're staying here to mourn.
No, I'm waiting. I told you I was waiting.
What are you waiting for?
So we made this oath. Whoever died first would send the other a sign.
A sign.
You love this actress quite a bit.
27 years old now, Kristen Stewart. And that was her in Personal Shopper, which me and Matt were both shocked.
You didn't want to pull a clip from Twilight?
No.
See, that's the thing. I still haven't completely forgiven her for Twilight, but she does continue to surprise me.
I mean, I'm stunned. Her last couple of films really have totally changed me on the way I would think of Kristen Stewart. You have Personal Shopper, Clouds of Sils Maria, which is both
seen that one.
the same director. So if you like Personal Shopper, you'll like Clouds. She was in Into the Wild. Mm-hmm. She had a pivotal role in that. Adventureland. Had the big action movie Snow White and the Huntsman. Actually, she was the kid as Jodie Foster's daughter in Panic Room. And then let's not forget Joan Jett in The Runaways. Also pulled that off, I thought, quite well.
She's got the look for Joan Jett, no doubt.
Yeah, she does.
She has a look about her that is interesting. It's edgy. And sometimes you need that as like a leading actress to be a little edgy. And I think she's got it. So I'm excited to see what she keeps doing.
Yeah. I mean, and it will be keep doing because she's up and coming and going, really. Yeah. Cool. Number 2. My number 2 is Emma Kenny. I hope I don't get dinged too much for this, but you know her as Debbie from Shameless. But she is going to be, and I know that's television and a Netflix series, and my next thing is also television, but a lot of them go into movies after that. She's going to be starring as Harris, who is David and Darlene's kid on the Roseanne reboot that's coming up. Are you guys fans?
I'm actually kind of, listen, at this point you have an Oscar winner, an Oscar nominee, and one of the greatest female comedians of all time, right?
Yeah.
In this cast?
Yes.
So, yeah, I am
You're
kind of
hopeful?
excited.
All right, good.
Hopeful,
Good.
I guess is a good way.
But-
I did see the reboot of Fuller House, got to admit. It was the kids. It's the kids.
It's so bad. It's
really bad.
almost unwatchable. My daughter, she's 6. She's watching it.
It's bad.
Okay.
I stayed away.
You're lucky. It's like Seventh Heaven. Do you remember that show?
Yeah, but worse.
Oh, yeah. So,
Okay.
but Seventh Heaven was a thing at our house. Like we watched it. It was sort of like the ironic watch.
Well, Full House was a thing in my house. My sister and I grew up watching Full House. I love Full House. The show made sense when they were all kids. Now, this.
You're
don't
not digging
bother.
it?
No.
They aged well.
Oh, you just think they're cute?
I mean, the guys too. Everybody sort of aged well, right?
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah.
Maybe
Uncle
not
Jesse.
Dave Coulier.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right.
So where are we? My number 2?
Yes, you're number
Okay.
2.
This is mostly for me a list of not necessarily up-and-comers, I guess, but good actresses who I would want to see more from. This is a person you know, superstar, Ellen Page. But where's she been?
Since
Inception really is the last big role I could point to from her.
really, I was going to say Juno.
Oh, she's definitely been around since Juno.
Yeah.
She's
I can't get behind this pick at all.
really?
No.
Why?
I found her annoying in Inception, a film that I absolutely adore. I think it would have been even better without her in it.
You're not a fan of Ellen Page?
I'm not, no.
Wow.
No.
What about Juno, man?
Oh, Juno, yes. That's, okay, that's kind
so
of...
that's where it stops for you with
that's
Ellen Page?
a kind of deal where that's an actress in the perfect role at the perfect time.
You think she's kind of
written
draggy?
for her.
You think she's kind of draggy?
Yes.
You're
Okay.
just pissed off because she's getting all of Kristen Stewart's roles. You wanted to
Yeah.
see Kristen Stewart in Whip It, not Ellen Page.
Yeah, no, because I would actually, that's a very good point, Matt, because they're both can be mopey. I mean, they both, right, can play that.
They're somewhat interchangeable.
Yeah. Oh.
Are you
But I'd have to
joking
give
me?
the edge to Ellen Page here.
Come on.
Absolutely.
They're interchangeable. They're not even on the same
Ellen
platform
Page is
of
funny,
talent.
though. I don't think Kristen Stewart can pull off comedy. Can she pull off comedy?
Oh, I don't know if she can, but she's a hell of a lot better. She's got more talent in her pinky than Ellen Page.
I don't think so, man. She can't pull off funny.
I've seen her pinky.
I'd go
We'll leave
Ellen
that one
Page,
alone.
too.
My God.
Okay.
This is an embarrassing pick.
I don't think so, Rye.
Yeah,
Colleen's on my side.
I am. I'd go with that, too.
This is not good. All right, swings it over to my number 2. Let's get us back on track here after that Ellen Page debacle. Wow. We have a sip of beer really quick. Hold on.
What, cleanse the palate?
Yeah, that was rough. Wow. All right, my number 2, 23 years old, already has 3 Oscar nominations.
Wow.
So I think most people know who I'm speaking of when I mention her name, but she has a very difficult name to pronounce, so maybe it's taking a little while for people to catch up and realize what a star she is going to be. And you've mentioned Lady Bird a couple of times here. I'm speaking of Lady Bird herself, Saoirse Ronan.
Sure.
It's not that difficult. You did
No,
it perfectly.
well, I know because we've been talking about her a lot.
Right.
But
It's not pronounced how it's spelled.
Right.
Yes.
And once you get to hear it enough, it's
Right.
pretty easy, Saoirse Ronan. But the movies, we first met her in Atonement, which she was nominated, and I don't know, she must have been 8 years old. Can you throw that in the jaw box? How old was Saoirse Ronan when her first nomination? The Lovely Bones. I had read the book and
yes.
saw the movie. Movie
Yes.
not nearly as good as the book, but still, she was perfectly cast. She played Hannah, which was the assassin movie, the young girl assassin. She was in the Grand Budapest Hotel, who, I mean, I love Wes Anderson,
Fantastic.
and she nailed it. And then the last 2 movies really, I think, is what points to, we're talking about a superstar, and in that kind of class that the Kate Winslets and the Kate Blanchetts get to. Brooklyn, which I absolutely adored 1 year ago, and then Lady Bird 2017. Back-to-back Oscar nominations, strong performances in both, and quite different roles at the same time. She's just one of those actresses that's got it.
Good. Yeah, good pick.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yep. And only 23. How exciting. We got a full career of Saoirse Ronan coming. So
That's great.
yeah. Here it is, our number 1s. This is Cinemajaw. These are our favorite up-and-coming actresses. Colleen.
All right. I am excited about this young woman. Her name is Danielle McDonald. She, I don't know if you guys saw her. She played the aspiring rapper in Patty Cakes.
Yes. Yes.
That's her name. Okay.
She's going to be starring with Jennifer Aniston in a movie called Dumplin', about a plus-size girl who enters into a beauty pageant, which I feel like was a page out of my own life, because in 1988, 8, I entered into the Miss Illinois Sweetheart pageant in an attempt to validate myself, although I was not your typical beauty queen. I did win Prettiest Smile. So anyway.
Did you have to give a speech?
I can see it.
They asked me who my role model was, and I said Liza Minnelli. Are you kidding me?
That is the weirdest answer of all time.
You get nervous. I was under pressure.
Liza Minnelli?
I don't even know if I could have picked Liza Minnelli out of a lineup at that age. I was, 12. Anyway, it made sense at the time. But anyway, so I like her. I thought she was great in Patty Cakes. She's very talented. And who I would compare her to, and why I think we may be seeing more, is sort of like a Rebel Wilson. And I think we tend to gravitate towards these, like comedian types. And I do think we'll be seeing more of her in those types of roles.
I loved Patty Cakes.
It was great.
It was awesome, and she carries the entire movie.
Right.
So, yeah.
Super talented.
That is a great
but
pick.
is sort of like that Rebel Wilson-ish.
Yeah.
But I think we may see more of her.
Yeah, I hope so.
Okay.
Matt, who could you possibly have above Ellen Page at number 1?
Okay.
Funny.
Again,
Okay. That was a dig.
That was a dig.
He does this all. I
Did
just
you catch
ignore
the
it at this point.
sarcasm? Did you catch it, Matt?
It's really not that subtle, right? Okay. I feel like I shouldn't keep justifying this every time we get around to me.
Go ahead.
But here's an actress who's a total household name, an absolute superstar, fully established already, but is extremely young, and we have a huge career to look forward to in the future. I mean, she's going to be up there with like the likes of Meryl Streep, and I'm talking about Jennifer Lawrence.
Okay. Well, I was waiting. I figured she'd be somebody's number 1.
She is probably the best female actress alive today, in my opinion. Really
strong words.
It is. They are strong words.
Do you think
Considering
she's
she didn't make
versatile?
my top 5, I don't think so. No.
Okay, so I just saw Red Sparrow, which kind of a throwaway. It was a fun, sexy spy thriller, I guess.
People are just raking her over the coals over the Russian accent.
Not good.
I didn't think it was bad. Okay, I don't know. I'm not a linguist or anything.
Okay, but so for not a linguist, for the casual viewer, she pulled it off. You thought?
Yeah, she was
I haven't
fine.
seen it. Okay.
And I don't know what it is. Again, it's like something in her eyes. It just sort of draws you in, and like it creates empathy. So I sit there and I watch her characters on screen, and she makes me a believer. Like if she's in pain or if she's in peril, I'm there. I'm feeling it.
I just feel like she's always thinking. In all of her movies, she's always got that same look of, like, you know what I'm talking about? I can't, like, I'm thinking, I'm overthinking, I'm lost.
Not in the moment. Yeah.
Really? You guys are down on this pick, huh?
Well, I'm not, because I think she will continue to be cast. How many of these people, what does it take to have a name? Like, do you have to star in something like The Hunger Games and that type of a large movie to have your name on the board like that?
Oh, here's how I feel. I think when we've seen her in movies that are well written and well casted, like something like Silver Linings Playbook or American Hustle,
right?
She knocks it out of the park. Awesome. When we see her in a movie like Red Sparrow or Passengers or something that isn't that strong, she can't carry a film, and she isn't that interesting to me. Where I see other actors or actresses, I can actually watch a movie and say, well, that movie's kind of stunk, but at least we got a good role from John Goodman, or that was fun to watch Cate Blanchett have fun with this. I don't put her in that category. I think she lives and dies with a good director and good script right now. I don't think she's a strong enough actress to pull it off right now.
She totally is for me. I guess I'm just a fan. I like her acting. I like her work. And I mean what I said. I think she's the best going right now. She's definitely the top leading lady. And I think it's well-deserved.
Yeah.
Just from talent alone.
Matt? She's better than Ellen Page.
Thank you.
All right.
At least I got that, at least.
Yes.
Swings it over to my number 1. I'm going heavy hitter here also. I think she's already, if she's not a well-known and basically has made it to superstar, she is basically on the cusp because, ladies and gentlemen, she's in a Marvel movie, upcoming Marvel movie.
Oh, I see. I know where you're going here.
28 years old, has an Oscar in her pocket for the wonderful performance in the movie Room. I'm going with Brie Larson as my number 1.
Sure.
And I think why I put her at number 1 is because doing Cinemajaw for as long as we have, she's been on my radar since Short Term 12, which I reviewed, and I looked this up back in 2013. I was already calling for people. I was asking, I heard my review, and I said she should be nominated for an Oscar and maybe win the Oscar that year. Of course, she didn't get nominated. Nobody even really saw the movie. So I was really pushing for her, and then she was in Room. So I've been
So what you're saying
championing
is she can thank you for her career.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
You nailed it. You nailed it. So Brie Larson, other movies she's been in, Scott Pilgrim. She was in Trainwreck. She played Amy Schumer's sister.
Yes.
So she does some comedy pretty well. Free Fire, which I enjoyed, big shootout movie last year. The Gambler with Mark Wahlberg. She has a role in there.
Oh,
21
yeah.
Jump Street she appears in. Short Term 12, Room. And then finally, after winning the Oscar, getting some name recognition, she went with Kong Skull Island last year. So.
And she's going to be Miss Captain Marvel.
Right.
Captain
and then
Marvel.
everybody's going to know who she is if they don't already. So.
Yeah. I mean, what exactly does it take to get on the map like a Jennifer Lawrence, where you're really that kind of a household name? Does it take like a Hunger Games? Do you think if she had not done Hunger Games?
I think you have to work for the mouse.
Yeah.
You got to be in a Marvel, Star Wars, some sort of huge vehicle, Hunger Games, in order to get that. Because these little indie roles, while they sort of lead you to that, or you get lucky and you get cast into one of those type of movies right from the jump.
Yeah.
But that's what it takes.
Yeah, and I think this is, again, we've highlighted like where the awards like the Oscars come through still means something. You look back at Jennifer Lawrence's career as one of the best examples of this is she was nominated for Winter's Bone, which was a small movie that most people had not seen. So you're talking about now maybe 40 million people watching the Oscars, and she's nominated and looking, absolutely fabulous.
Right.
And people are like, wait, who's this? All of a sudden, she's a name to people that they don't know. And then right from that, I would say within a week after the Oscars, she got cast as Katniss Everdeen in The Hunger Games, and the rest is history. But I think that step up of getting a nomination at the Oscars launched her career.
Oh, so you're saying you think it takes a nomination to
Not
get that?
Not always, but I'm not saying it. I'm just saying that's another road that helps for
there
sure.
There are lots of Oscar winners who they win
nowhere.
an Oscar and
they're
that's
obscure,
it.
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like what happened?
Mm-hmm.
You still got to pick the right roles after you win or are nominated. It's still very important for sure. So she's just made some really good choices. So honorable mentions really quick before we go to break.
Go for it.
If you had any. I had Shailene Woodley.
Yeah.
Oh, I love her.
Excellent. Haley Steinfeld, who
was one of my honorables.
Yeah, was in Edge of 17 and also
True Grit.
Emma Watson. Not positive I'm fully on board talent-wise. I mean, I like her. She has like a charisma that always draws me to her. So I thought she was great as Belle in Beauty and the Beast, for instance.
Yeah.
But need a little bit more before I can give her the
Well,
huge
she
thumbs up.
is a little stuck in the Harry Potter franchise.
You think so? She's going to be typecast? I think she's broken out.
You think?
I do.
Okay.
I think Belle had a huge part in that last year.
No doubt. If we missed your favorite up-and-comer and you have Twitter pulled up, shoot us a tweet at Cinemajaw or write us feedback@cinemajaw.com. We will retweet and get the discussion going. What we're going to do is take a break, and when we come back, Matt is taking Colleen on in action cast movie trivia, plus a Cinema War looking at Spielberg at his 1980s best. We'll be right back on Cinemajaw.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby.
Hey guys, Matt K here. Jawheads, especially all you single jawheads, we got a new sponsor and check them out.
The popcorn can't be beat.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to Mix Amore, a new dating app. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, Hispanic, Latino, Asian, Indian, or beyond. Listen, some see things in black and white. Some see plenty of fish. To match is hard, so they say. Why not try Mix Amore? That's MIXAMORE. Download today for free. Ciao.
Go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
And we are back on Cinemajaw, hanging out with Colleen Kelly from Star 102.5. you got those call letters probably ingrained in your head.
Oh, yeah. Well, and we had a boss one time. This was our old boss who it was probably a 1 hour long meeting on saying star 102.5, like really nailing into point. This is how program directors are.
WNBC,
exactly.
that kind of thing.
And like there was no amount of enthusiasm that was going to be good enough for him. However you said it was not going to be quite right. But yes, get the point in there and say it with enthusiasm.
That must have been the worst meeting ever.
It was like an hour. No, it was like an hour. We went around the room several times trying to get it right.
Wow.
Yes.
That's amazing.
That's how I am with Matt and Cinemajaw.
And you try to still working on how to get it right?
It's actually Cinema War. I always say, Matt, it's time for
Cinema War.
Slow it down and deeper.
And I've been trying to get him to get his, and we are back on Cinemajaw.
Okay.
Nail it. You
Get
see
it.
how good I just did that?
Yes.
He can't get it right.
You're the Ellen Page of Cinemajaw.
You've got to stretch out the, and we are back. Give him a little anticipation, Ryan.
Oh, boy. All right. Well, we did want to mention, we actually know Colleen. We would say a friend of the show.
Yes.
Because she actually had the good fortune of knowing your wife.
Or maybe my wife had the good fortune of
Look at how Matt was laughing at that right away.
I do think it's funny that we're this far into it when however many of your listeners from the get-go are like, how in the world did you end up with some woman from Des Moines on your show? We probably should have addressed this from the get-go. I've known Matt for a very long time. Through his wife, Heather, one of my BFFs from high school. We used to drive around in her red Camaro. I think it was a Camaro. I better get that right or she would probably have my head.
I think it was a Trans Am.
Was it a Trans Am?
Yeah, Firebird.
I had heard a story, because you probably hear these stories all the time, that one of Heather's friends would say about Heather's husband, what do you see in him? Was that you?
Come on.
And
What?
He's baiting you. That's not
What?
true. All of her friends
Who would say that? No,
love me.
No, Matt has always been a super great guy in all of our books, and super good to Heather is what, I mean, let's face it.
See that?
With your friends, you want your friends to end up with people who are just good to them. And Matt's always been real good to Heather. So we've always been a big fan of Matt, and he's interesting. I mean, Matt and I probably.
Thank you.
You
Thank
know,
you,
yeah, well, because, and we would hit it off because
I don't like
was
where
in the
this is
radio
going.
industry.
I really don't like where this is going.
I interned at Q101. And
Right,
we
we had
talk
a lot in
about
common.
that, just kind of stuff. We both like to chat and talk about things and whatnot.
Right. Of all of Heather's friends.
karate.
We do Pilates. Hey, you're the one doing calisthenics before all this, okay?
That's true, Ryan.
Matt's out having a smoke. That's much more rock and roll.
If nothing else, I am way more rock and roll than Rye the Movie Guy. I don't even think that's
do
debatable.
He can do more push-ups,
Cinema
but
War.
whatever. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it is very much whatever.
Oh, good times. All right. So Colleen is sitting in on this Jaw, and it's been a blast.
So much fun.
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks for having me.
Again, for the listeners that aren't in the Des Moines area, the best place to catch the show online.
Yeah, star1025.com. You can stream us live there, or you can find our podcasts wherever you find your podcast, Ken, Colleen, and Kurt in the morning.
See, right there, you got to hit that .com.
.com. And I should have plugged one of your podcast sponsor if I were a decent, co-host in all this, or guest.
The co-op, you mean, or?
Yeah, don't you have a sponsor that was like a?
Yeah, what this episode?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
All right, Matt. Before we get to Cinema and before we get to trivia, we did throw quite a few items into the Jaw box. And I know Phil wants to get out and talk about. Who knows what Phil wants to talk about?
Animation, probably.
Yeah. Let's open up that Jaw box.
What's your pleasure, Mr. Cotton?
The box.
What's in the box?
Hello. I am glad that Louis Cravalho was on there. For the record, if anyone's interested, there is, even before the film came out, they may have taken it down, but Disney Animation Studios had released this really great documentary series of casting Moana. And like it's like, I don't know, 15 minutes of your time to watch like John Lasseter go to Hawaii and find a Louis Cravalho, and it's just really magical. I knew from that moment, like in 2015, that one, Moana was going to be a great movie, and two, that a Louis Cravalho is going to do some good stuff.
Phil is always way out ahead of these animated films.
He is.
Oh, and by the way, though, it is Cravalho. That's because The Rock was pronouncing it the way you are, Phil, and she corrected him. Do we need to put something else in the box? Is it too late?
We could. I mean,
We'll go to audio from that. Anyway.
We'll play the audio pronunciation at the end.
I mean, I honestly, I don't know if that's going to help much, like, because it's in my brain as Cravalho.
Yeah,
but
that's okay.
I hope
she
so.
forgives you. She said she's happy to hear her name in any way, shape, or form. Again, I'm just referencing this YouTube video with her and The Rock.
I'm glad that you can speak for her too.
Yes.
That makes me.
You bet.
Also, if she can tell me that she's happy that I'm a fan at all, that's great.
I'm sure she is.
Let's start with what we got. So the first question was, is Mia Wasikowska, I think that's however it's pronounced, Russian? So actually, she is Australian.
Oh, we were way off on that.
But maybe she's a Russian Australian.
Is she a spy?
And what I learned...
Could be.
So she uses her mother's name, her mother's maiden name, and her mother is Polish.
Polish.
So
okay, that makes sense.
That's And her mother was a Polish immigrant to Australia, which is where all that came from.
She's a ski.
Yeah, but see, it could be the ski with an I or the ski with a Y.
Okay.
The Y is usually Russian, and the I is usually Polish.
Very good.
It's a ska.
Oh, it's a ska.
Wasikowska.
I love ska.
I haven't heard of it since like 2007, but yeah.
The 90s were huge, man. You weren't born yet, Phil.
Then we have who is the lead kid in Super 8? That was Joel Courtney. He hasn't really been in much since. He hasn't had like a big movie. But there is one upcoming that I've heard of at least. I don't know much about it, but I know there's like a teen comedy called F the Prom, and he's in that.
Haven't heard of it. Yeah. Can't comment on it.
And then the last one, how old was Saoirse Ronan when she got her first Academy Award nomination? And so for Atonement, she was actually 13.
Very young. Gosh, could you imagine? 13, that kind of notoriety.
Yeah, but like you were saying before, sometimes you get an Oscar nom and then, fade into obscurity. So it's not a done deal at that point.
How ticked are you if you're the actress with 40 years under your belt and the 13-year-old beats you? I mean, let's be honest. And she can't. Well, she can barely talk into the mic.
If you're Meryl Streep, you're not that ticked anymore. I think it's really the Meryl Streep show, the Oscars. I mean, she's always, even if she's not nominated.
They always go to her.
Happen?
Where's Meryl Streep?
Right.
She's part of the opening.
She's
and
sitting in the front
monologue.
row.
Yes.
She's everybody's go-to joke.
Right.
Yeah.
Was that everything, Phil?
That was.
We had some feedback. Quite a bit came in, but we always like to highlight Flicker Joe.
Yeah.
Because he comments on the list. And we did Movie Doctors just last episode.
Yeah, and I think it's been a little while since we've heard from Joe.
Yeah, in fact, somebody else wrote in asking about Flicker Joe. So he's got a little bit of following on the show.
That's really? That's amazing. Awesome. All right, so Joe writes in and says, fun show this week, guys. Great doctor lists. One discrepancy. Matt Kay, Robin Williams did play a few other doctors, one being his child psychiatrist role in the beautiful What Dreams May Come. Totally forgot that one. And also his Oscar-winning role as Will's psychologist in Good Will Hunting, which we did mention right after we stopped recording. Meanwhile, one movie doctor everybody totally forgot happens to be in my favorite, and that is Dr. Stephen Maturin, hope I'm saying that right, played by Paul Bettany in Master and Commander.
That's a good one.
Yeah, definitely. I loved how level-headed, even and kind of aloof he was amid horrific battles with almost nothing to work with, constantly performing surgery, including one on himself, most of them on a tossing ship, while also playing the necessary devil's advocate for the crazy ideas of his ambitious captain. That's a beautiful movie, best Peter Weir ever made, in my opinion. Also, I meant to email about last week's list on Stuck in a Rut. My three favorites also went unmentioned. How about Inside Llewyn Davis?
Not bad. Not bad at all.
Adaptation? Totally.
For sure.
And Magnolia. You all had some good ones, too. Thanks for keeping the week entertaining. Well, thank you, Joe.
Yeah, thank you, Joe. Love hearing from the Jawheads.
Every week.
Yeah. All right, Phil, get back in the jaw box.
Can do. Thank you.
Matt, it's time for
Cinema War.
Nice.
We'll go with that one.
Yeah,
that was really good.
Keep that one,
man.
man.
I like that one. Yeah. Cinema War works like this. Me and Matt were fighting on a topic. Our guest this week, Colleen, gets to play judge and jury and tell the Jawheads at home who she thinks won the Cinema War. It's a big one, Matt. We got Ready Player One, Steven Spielberg's directing. Heck, Phil, tell the Jawheads at home what today's Cinema War topic is.
Today's Cinema War topic, iconic 80s Spielberg. Which 1980s Spielberg-directed film is better and more iconic? E.T. the Extraterrestrial or Raiders of the Lost Ark? Rye, you'll be fighting for E.T., and Matt, you'll be fighting for Raiders. Let this cinema warhorse begin.
Matt, in all honesty, Steven Spielberg has made some truly amazing films throughout his career. But if I only had time to choose one film to show someone who has never seen or heard of his work, I would sit them down and show them E.T. in all its wonderment. It shows exactly why Spielberg is so special.
Your desert island would be a boring place. And Phil, get ready with the beep button. Indiana motherfucking Jones. Raiders of the Lost Ark gave us Indiana motherfucking Jones. I'm sorry if you're a softie, but scrotum-skinned, phallic-headed aliens with weird glowing fingers are no match for Indiana Jones in this or any other movie universe. Thanks for Drew Barrymore and all, but I'll keep Indiana Jones, thanks.
And that leads me right into my second point, so thank you, Matt. I love me some Raiders of the Lost Ark, but to me, that feels like a movie I would show someone if I was trying to showcase Harrison Ford. That is his big movie. E.T., meanwhile, was filled with child actors no one had ever heard of at that time, an alien puppet, and somehow it reminded us all of why we love the movies.
It was a Reese's Pieces commercial. Who was even the villain in E.T.? The guys in the hazmat suits? His little sister? To this day, I really don't know what the hell happened in that movie. There's no ambiguity in Raiders. It's simply one of the greatest adventure stories ever told in cinema, not some punk kids with an alien.
E.T. Phone Home, Reese's Pieces, the Speak and Spell computer, kids on their bike, flying across the night sky with a full moon behind them. E.T. is truly a landmark film, one that fills us with these great collective memories. It was funny, scary, filled us with awe, and all the while teaching kids about loss. This was 80s Spielberg at the top of his game. Hell, I would argue E.T. represents the 1980s almost better than any other film that springs to mind.
All right, take away the bikes across the moon scene, and what have you got? What can you point to as a great movie moment? Not too much. Meanwhile, the entire 1 hour and 55-minute runtime of Raiders of the Lost Ark is one big movie moment. Swinging from the whip, punching Nazis in the face, bringing a gun to a sword fight, faces melting, the Ark lost in some giant warehouse. It's all iconic.
E.T. will be right here. That was a hell of a moment. Let me tell you, Raiders of the Lost Ark had sequels. And while great, I think they actually take away from the magical effect of a single movie that it can have. Just like E.T. has that effect. It will never be remade. It'll never be rebooted. It'll never have a sequel. It remains a masterpiece and an 80s classic that, when viewed, brings you back to that special time, that time we all discovered just how great Steven Spielberg is.
Except for when he went in and retouched it and took out the guns and replaced them with walkie-talkies. E.T. is creepy. It's also responsible for generating the video game that nearly leveled the entire video game industry with its horrible suckiness. Raiders, the game for Atari, is still playable to this day. My point is, the lasting impression on pop culture has a fedora and a whip.
We are button heads here as we do each and every week. We throw it to Colleen, our guest, our jury. What did you think of this Cinema War?
First of all, I can't even believe you're putting these two movies up against each other. This is like having to pick a favorite child.
It's Sophie's choice.
Who does this to you? Phil? Is it Phil's fault?
It's Phil. He forces us.
Shame on you. This is a tough one, incredibly tough, you guys. And Matt, I gotta, first of all, your perspective, funnier, okay?
Thank
a lot
you.
of good punchlines.
I'll take that.
I appreciate that. But Rye, I gotta side with Rye here.
Oh my God!
I gotta side with Rye.
I thought I finally had it. He's on an epic winning streak.
I'm sorry, but it's just unfair. First of all, it's just unfair. E.T. is just too much of a classic. To his point that there are not sequels made. Some people don't even know which of the Raiders of the Lost Ark you're even talking about, or I'm sorry, which of the Indiana Jones movies you're talking about.
I don't think anyone listening to this show maybe. It's a fair point, though.
So I do, I if you're going for overall. And to your point, though, I mean, Matt, that maybe listeners of the show, it might be a different diehard group. I'm strictly going from me, which I'm not, I'm just pop culture. And from that perspective, I gotta side with Rye with E.T.
9 in a row.
Wow.
He made 9 in a row.
He may
I'm
match.
sorry.
It's okay. I've had 10
I know
in
I'm
a row.
your friend. I hope this doesn't affect our friendship.
No, I got to watch him gloat, and now
I
he gets
was
to
so
rant.
worried because
it is.
I'm looking at the guest list, and I'm like, wait a minute, who is this Colleen Kelly again? And he's like, oh, it's Heather's friend. And I'm in this epic streak of Cinemajaw. So the first thing I think is, oh, my God, Matt's sabotaging my
But you see, Ryan,
streak.
I play fair. I didn't tell
No,
you
you
anything.
didn't prep me on that at all.
Oh, 9 in a row.
You didn't slip me.
Undefeated in
You
2018.
did slip me at 20. I thought that was just for being here. I didn't realize you were bribing me. Sorry.
It's all right. I should have made it a 50.
Oh, Matt, I mean, it feels so good to be undefeated in 2018, and look at it. We're almost near the end of March already. This is unbelievable.
All right, just get your 20 seconds out
My
of the way.
20 seconds is this. Hey, theater owners, I'm already annoyed by people that chomp on popcorn and stuff in the theater. Now we're getting to the point where they're ordering wings. I don't know what people are eating in the theater. It's even more distracting. Tomb Raider, next to us, fellow critic, Adam Fendelman. What did he have? It was something like
Red Vines or something.
ridiculous.
It was normal candy,
No,
dude.
you didn't pay attention. It was literally wings with a dipping sauce, and I mean, it was a to-do that he had all over them.
Do you sit on your front porch and yell at the kids who
Oh,
come
I
on your
can't
lawn?
stand it. I know. Go to the movie to watch the movie, not chomp away on food.
People enjoy snacks.
I don't like it. That's all I'm saying.
All right. I was going to, if I had one, I was going to apologize.
You don't have one because I keep winning.
I was going to apologize to the person whose feet I stepped on because I was late to the screening, and Rye saved me a seat in the middle of the row in a sold-out, press screening, and I had to crawl through, and I'm a big dude, right on the top of somebody's foot.
Yeah, I did read that Richard Roper is limping now. So,
dude, whoever it was, I am sorry.
Wait, by the way, are press screenings the only showings now where you don't have to reserve a seat?
that's also
Do you guys
becoming
still have theaters around here where you don't have to reserve a seat?
It's getting less and less common, but I know what you mean. Yeah.
I mean, all of our theaters have gone to
Reserved seating?
Yeah, reserved seating.
Okay, I think it's lame. I like to get there and see what's available and kind of make my decision on the fly. I don't like to buy a seat. And plus, you can make a mistake and think it's the front row or the back row and get those two mixed up, which happened to my sister recently.
He's saying his sister. That's code word for me. I did it again.
She was sitting there right in the very, very front row because she wanted the
brutal.
back.
And
I
how
love how
bad
you
would
keep
that
saying
be?
she. That's awesome.
I know.
You're
Stick
really
with
going
it.
with it. Yeah.
Stick
It
with
wasn't me. They don't have those in Chicago, honestly, or it's
Really?
kind of rare.
Oh, okay.
They do.
Where?
Plenty. Webster Theater has it.
Arclight.
Icon.
Well,
Yeah.
almost all of ours have gone that way. And I know it really ticks off some people. I think the only people it pleases are those of us who go with kids because that way we can get there very last minute and not have to,
I guess that's convenient.
But that's about it. Everybody else is ticked.
All right, let's play some trivia.
Let's do it.
I boosted this trivia up. Since we went eye for an eye on Pacific Rim, I thought we'll play action cast movie trivia. And since we like to get harder as the questions go, the movies will just get older and each get like a year. So we go 2017, 2016, 2015, down the
And
road.
so on.
Got it?
Understood.
Yeah. Colleen, you're our guest. You get to choose if you want to go first or let Matt go first. There are steals. And if you get hung up on any questions, Fill Me In Phil has clues to every one of these.
Yeah, I hope you're ready,
questions.
Phil. I mean, I hope you're really ready with some good clues. All right, why don't you go first?
Wow,
Yeah.
defers.
Well, I'm feeling bad. I mean, I'm clearly.
Oh, don't worry about
Okay.
it.
All right.
Sorry.
Question
He does
one.
have to lose next
9
week.
in a row. Woo. All right. Question number 1. The year in the cast. Here you go, Matt. 2017. Tom Hiddleston, Brie Larson, Samuel L. Jackson, John Goodman, John C. Reilly.
One more time, because I was still thinking about how Colleen said my argument was funnier.
It was funny. You're funny.
Thank you. I was
You are
distracted
funny.
in my mind.
You are funny.
She's just being nice now. Here we go.
Go ahead. I'm ready.
You're ready this time?
Yes, I am.
Funny boy.
I'm
Here we
paying
go.
attention.
2017.
Uh-huh.
Tom Hiddleston, Brie Larson, Samuel L. Jackson, John Goodman, and John C. Reilly.
Wow. I feel like I should know that like right away. 2017.
Steal. When do I get to steal?
When I get it wrong, which I'm about to do. And this is the first question. I mean, Tom Hiddleston.
Steel.
I don't know. Snakes on a plane. I got nothing.
You got a chance for a steal and to take a 1-point lead.
Skull Island.
Kong Skull Island, Matt. I was mentioned earlier when I was talking about
I
Brie
know.
Larson. Oh, my God.
Botched that one. I still haven't seen it, in all honesty. I missed it in
It's
2017.
actually pretty good.
That's what I've heard.
It's a decent watch.
Yeah,
it's
all right.
1-0. Colleen in question 2 is over 2. Or Colleen, 2017 also.
Okay.
Chris Hemsworth, Kate Blanchett, Mark Ruffalo, Jeff Goldblum, Carl Urban.
Well, this is got to be like one of the Avengers movies. Avengers? Something? Do I need to know the whole title?
Yes, you do. Chris Hemsworth is the lead. Kate Blanchett.
Oh, well, this is Captain America. Oh.
That is incorrect, Matt. You got a chance for a steal. You probably don't have a clue.
It's Thor
It's
Ragnarok.
Thor. Darn it.
Matt ties it
How
up.
could I forget Chris Hemsworth? I love him in that.
He's awesome as Thor. Yeah.
All
Isn't
right.
he? It is 1-1 now. Question 3 over to Matt K. We moved to 2016.
Arguably a comedy, though, not an action movie. But
Okay.
go on.
2016 now. Will Smith, Jared Leto, Margot Robbie, Viola Davis.
Will Smith.
That's right. Jared Leto, Margot Robbie, and Viola Davis.
Oh, okay. Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
2-1. Question 4 moves over to Colleen.
Come on, Col.
Also 2016. Denzel Washington, Ethan Hawke, Chris Pratt, and Peter Sarsgaard.
Well,
2016.
I mean, Chris Pratt. Is it Guardians of the Galaxy?
Matt, you got a chance for a steal here and take a commanding 3-1 lead.
What else has he done? Sarsgaard, Pratt.
Ethan Hawke,
Ethan Hawke.
Denzel Washington.
Flight 2. No?
No. Magnificent Seven. The remake of Magnificent Seven.
No. Yeah.
Western action movie.
Yes.
No.
That was up for an Academy Award. Oops.
All right, here we go. It is 2-1, Matt K. Question 5 over to Matt. Matt, Daniel Craig. Oh, now we move to 2015.
Okay.
All right, 2015. Daniel Craig, Christoph Waltz, Monica Bellucci, and Ralph Fiennes.
I mean, okay. I'm just going to say 2015, is this Spectre?
Oh, wow. Good
Wow.
for you.
Nice.
Oh, I hear
a
his
Bond
name and
fan.
all I can think is Casino Royale.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm a big Bond guy. I know them all.
All right. Good for you.
3-1, Matt K. Colleen, question 6 over to you. Also
Okay.
2015.
Okay. Come on, Carl.
Channing Tatum,
Yes.
Mila
Hello.
Kunis.
Hello.
Mila Kunis.
Yep.
Where was that hello?
Well, she's all right.
Yeah. Sean Bean.
She's no Ellen Page.
All right, here we go. 2015, Channing Tatum, Mila Kunis, Sean Bean, and Eddie Redmayne.
Oh. Okay. When do I get my hint? Phil,
Well,
what
if you want it, you can
yeah.
take it.
Phil, get off your phone here. Come on.
Wow.
Help me
Fill
out.
me in, Phil. Question number 6. 2015, what was the name of that Channing Tatum, Mila Kunis movie?
Your clue, Colleen, is a planet in our solar system.
Well, my very educated mother just showed us 9.
Is that the mnemonic
the P
device?
doesn't- Yeah, the P doesn't exist anymore, though. I'd say Mars.
Incorrect. Matt,
What
you
was
got
it?
a chance for a steal and to really take a commanding lead
I
here,
know this
4-1.
one. I do. I remember. I.
Because you do this every week.
That's true. But you'd be surprised how often I lose. It's Jupiter Ascending.
Oh,
It's total
Jupiter.
crap fest.
That's just. My very educated
Wow.
mother just showed us
Yes.
9.
What was the P?
Pies.
Well, Pluto no longer exists.
Right.
True, but what was it?
Pies, I used to
Is
say.
it pies?
Just showed us. No, my very educated mother just showed us 9 planets.
Oh.
Huh.
but we got 8.
I never was taught a good mnemonic device.
Yeah, mine was. It was like the same thing, and then it got to Mother just served up 9 pies. I think it was. It
Something
went
like that.
the same.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. It is 4-1, Matt K. 2 questions left, so he's won this one, unfortunately.
Oh, that stinks.
Yeah. I mean, Matt.
Sorry, Colleen.
Question 7 is over to you, and we move to the year 2014.
Okay.
Bryan Cranston, Elizabeth Olsen, Sally Hawkins, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Juliette Binoche.
Godzilla.
Wow.
5-1,
Now
Matt
you're
K.
just showing
yeah,
up.
he hasn't
Now
had a
you're just
performance like this
rubbing
in
my nose
in 5
in it.
years.
I swear
It's like
to
a
God.
dog
it's just...
who poops on the carpet. Look at it. Look at it.
Oh, man.
See what you did.
See what you did. Okay.
Question 8, last question is over
All
to
right.
Colleen. Still
All right.
2014.
I got to end on a good note here. Okay.
You can have my lifeline.
Wow.
If you need it. If you need it.
How nice. 2014, Tom Cruise, Emily Blunt, Bill Paxton, Brendan Gleeson.
Yeah. Phil, give me a clue because I feel like I know this one.
Wow. Trip to the
Yeah.
fish
my
tank.
second.
Phil.
What? I only get so many clues?
2014, Tom Cruise, Emily Blunt.
It was later changed to Live, Die, Repeat.
Oh, well, this is Mission Impossible.
Incorrect again.
No?
Matt, he's got to do it to her.
I do. I'm sorry.
What
It's The Edge of Tomorrow.
No. Who knows
Wow.
these things?
That was a great movie.
It was?
It really is. Give it a shot.
Alright.
Give it a shot.
It's a
All
very fun
right.
movie,
Okay.
for sure.
It's like Groundhog's Day meets Alien.
Also, in coming up with the questions, I think Mission Impossible would have been a better one.
6-1, Matt K.
All right,
I
hey,
haven't said that in a
good
long
job,
time. Holy
Matt.
cow.
Hey, good job, Matt. Glad you know about movies.
Legitimately, there was a handshake. Unbelievable. If it came down to a tie, we call it a jawbreaker, this question would have been over to you, Colleen.
Okay.
Better 2013 action film, Man of Steel or World War Z?
Man of Steel.
Incorrect also. You can't get any of these right.
Why are you a fan of what you like, Brad Pitt?
I was just joking.
Okay.
All right. The real jawbreaker was this. Age of John C. Reilly, closest to.
Ooh.
Matt, you got to guess?
Jeez. Well, I mean, he's not as old as Jack Nicholson, who's 666
At
years
least.
old. He really may be the devil or something.
I have no doubt. But he's still getting the young gals, the ballerinas.
Just proves the point. Okay. John C. Reilly, I would say, is just in his mid to early 50s, 54.
Lock him in at 54. Phil, you got to guess, Colleen?
I'm going over. I'd say 61.
Wow.
Ooh.
52 for John C. Reilly. Give that to Matt
Wow.
K. also. Holy
Wow.
cow.
See, he's still kind of young.
Yeah, I would consider that very young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, think about like Boogie
People
Nights.
are living into their 90s,
True. I mean, Jesus, Stan Lee.
right?
Another one is like 600 years old.
And all the women that they brought back for this year's Academy Awards who are still fitting into their same dresses, right?
Unbelievable.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's Pilates.
Yeah.
And they
Pilates,
probably
Pure
do
Barre.
calisthenics.
I was going to say, speaking
before.
of Pilates, we got to end this podcast because I got to get going here, guys.
You've been sitting in this chair the whole time. You got to stretch, right?
Too long. First and foremost, we got to thank our guest, Colleen. Thanks for coming on Cinemajaw.
Yay, thank you for having me. That was awesome.
We also got to thank our engineer, Filmy and Phil.
Thank you guys so much.
And to all our sponsors,
Yes,
Matt K.
yeah. Thanks to Second City Training Center and Mix Amore for sponsoring the show. And thanks to the Chicago Podcast Co-op who help us get cool sponsors.
Yeah, and if you'd like to help support Cinemajaw, the best way to do so is Patreon.
Do it, yes.
It would be great if you guys can get onto Patreon, help whatever little you can, and we got cool prizes.
We do. Lots of cool rewards.
Yeah, and if you can't do it financially, always leave us a review on iTunes. Those reviews do help attract new listeners.
Indeed, they do.
Until next week, I'm Ryan, the movie guy.
I'm Matt K.
And keep on jawing about the movies.